So here we are on another fine morning in sunny, beautiful New York City. It is March 4th, 2015. Out walking the big guy, and it's time to start thinking about promoting Pipulate, creating the documentation, designing that first user experience, and slogans and mottos. And I've been thinking, since there's so many parts to it, really, one of my biggest problems is going to be to communicate the whole relationship between Pipulate, Levinux, and my mission to get people to run their own servers. And it occurred to me that one possible slogan is try it, get it, buy it, read it. On the premise that trying Pipulate's easy enough. You go to pipulate.com and use it on the big hosted instance that'll have load balanced and stuff. And if you want your own instance, you get it, and it's really easy to get. And that's, of course, a double entendre, because you can get it by downloading Levinux and have your own instance on your desktop for your own exclusive use on localhost 88, at which time you can start picking apart the code and looking at how it works, and you can get it. And you can also install it directly on your desktop for better performance. So there's a bunch of ways to get it. And buy it. Well, I'm not selling anything, but I do advocate you getting your own hardware, your own dedicated hardware to run this stuff on, because the one-time purchase of $35 plus a few support parts is less than the recurring cost of Rackspace or Amazon cloud servers. So you don't need a cloud server, and you don't need a true hosting, web accessible hosting setup for Pipulate, because most of it runs as a scheduled task as a user, which doesn't need the firewall settings of most web hosted applications. And when you do use it as a hosted web application, you're usually surfing from the same network where that little piece of hardware is installed, so you'll be able to reach it at pipulate.local anyway without firewall settings. So when I say buy it, I mean there's very little ability to get away eventually from buying something, a place to execute your code. If you use the hardware you already own, that's one way to do it. You know, instead of getting a little micro server, you can repurpose an old laptop. And then, of course, that last one, Reddit, is you know, I'm hoping for this thing to become breakout successful. And they used to say an application gets slash-dotted, but that's so 90s. These days, an application gets, I guess, BuzzFeeded or Reddited or app stored or whatever. But I'll go with Reddit, because my stuff is obscure enough that it's going to take, you know, people capable of subredditing to get it. If you look at the Venn diagram of people who are customers or target audiences for all my pieces, it's a very odd Venn diagram. There's the big Learn Linux Technology Education Circle, the Raspberry Pi Circle, which is similar, then the Python Circle, which is similar. Then there's the SEO and social media professionals and aspiring professionals, and then there's the people who just need a tiny virtual machine where you don't need administrator rights and you don't want to run and install. And there's all these different overlapping audiences in what I'm doing, and it's certainly subreddit land. I'm going to have to hunt out the people who are particularly interested, and it's always a issue with Reddit to promote your own stuff. My original account, McLevin, has been shadow banned, so I can post, but no one can see what I post. It's a very humorous thing. I've implemented that kind of banning in my own systems in the past for the anti-sales team to not ruin in-process sales at Scala, but that's another story. I have a new username there, Mike Levinux, following the system I set up by the first distribution point for Levinux, mikelev.in/ux. So I'm going with that convention for my identity on Reddit. And one might say, oh, well, if it takes off and becomes super successful, you're going to have scaling problems and it's going to go down. Well, nope, this is a completely distributed application. The main instance, which is why I say I was thinking my motto would be try it, get it, buy it, Reddit, but I am actually leaning towards spy it, get it, try it, Reddit. No, try it, not try it, that's the one I'm eliminating. It's spy it, get it, buy it, Reddit. Because the Pipulate.com instance, I am thinking of opening it to only a early list of people who come in. I'll whitelist them. I'll probably use Google Plus Circles to manage the permissions, try and drink the Google Kool-Aid. But I'll probably do it informing them, making part of that agreement, that all the stuff they do is open, that everyone can come in as a non-editor, as just a user and a viewer, and view these pipulating documents. They can see them being used interactively in process, almost as if you were screen sharing, leveraging the wonderful collaborative abilities of Google Spreadsheets and Google Docs in general. And let's see. And they can see the scheduled actions take place. If you go in near the rollover of the hour, you'll actually see the loop-pipulate component come in and process all the spreadsheets of all the people who jumped on the bandwagon. So that gives you an opportunity to spy it. In addition to access to all the built-in documentation, like the documentation tab that I just implemented, which will bring you to the Google Slides presentation that's underway, and the soon-to-come Google Docs documentation of the framework, the individual functions, philosophies, tips, tricks, and all the rest of that. Oh, and how to set up your own stuff, because spy it leads to get it. Hopefully I create that feeling of exclusivity. I want this. I make it really, really easy to get. I might even pre-build Levinux. Typically, when you download Levinux, you have to choose option 4 off the menu to build Pipulate, and that alone could take 10 minutes, but it's a 20 megabyte nearly instant download. But I might take the trade-off and pre-build Pipulate so that it's, say, a 60 megabyte download, but when you double click to run it, you're pipulating instantly. So that's less time overall for the user, probably fewer moving parts because the build doesn't have to take place on everyone's machine. So there you have it. Spy it, get it, buy it, Reddit. And that'll probably be this Friday coming up, because Pipulate is pipulating. I have documents that I'm totally addicted to, as I had planned, watching my YouTube subscriber numbers grow. When an hour slips by with no new subscribers, I totally know it. So thumbs up this video, subscribe it, forward it to people who you think need to see it. And if there was any time to jump on the bandwagon, it's now, because this is my last month at 5030 Broadway, the little office I got for consultancy. But it turns out that office, its purpose, its mission in life was to incubate and create this Pipulate product. And this is the end of a 6-month plus journey. Let's see, 6 months, 7 or 8 months at this point. You know, it's under a year it took me to do Pipulate, and I can't wait to start building that tribe around it. So thanks for joining me. Talk to you soon, and don't forget to subscribe.